Lately, we have been getting a lot of inquiries about studying in Italy, especially after we mentioned it in the top 5 worst countries to study abroad in 2026. And I get the curiosity. Tuition fees as low as zero at public universities, a predictable PR pathway, amazing food, climate, and culture. On paper, it looks like one of the most perfect study abroad destinations out there. But stick around till the end of this video to find out if it actually holds up in real life or is it just good on paper. Hi, my name is Hari, and at Admit Abroad, we have helped hundreds of students get into their dream universities across the world. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing. It will genuinely help you make better decisions. So let's start with why Italy looks so good on paper. Tuition fees at public universities in Italy charge anywhere between 900 euros to 4,000 euros a year. On top of that, if your annual family income falls below 27,000 euros a year, 70 to 80% of that fee gets waived. Even private universities like Bocconi, which offers specialized courses, charge anywhere between 6,000 euros to 20,000 euros per year. And they do offer need-based scholarships of up to 8,000 euros a year. To put that in perspective, that's a fraction of what you would be paying for studying in the USA, UK, or Australia. Popular programs in Italy include engineering, architecture, fashion, business, and design. The universities there aren't second tier either. Politecnico di Milano, Sapienza University of Rome, University of Bologna, University of Padua, Politecnico di Torino, and Bocconi are some world-class universities in Italy. And here's the best part, getting into these universities isn't that difficult. On top of that, Italy gives you a Schengen visa that gets you access to 29 countries across Europe, meaning you could travel to Austria, Belgium, France, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, and 24 more other countries across Europe with just this one visa. So you're not studying in one country, you're positioned in the entire continent. Living expenses in Italy cost around 600 euros to 800 euros per month, excluding cities like Rome and Milan, which tend to have higher living costs. Cities like Turin, Bologna, Padua, and Pisa are moderately expensive, while the southern part of Italy tends to be the cheapest. Affordable degree, scholarships on top of that, and access to the rest of Europe. On paper, this looks like one of the smartest decisions that you will take while studying abroad. But why do we think it's one of the worst countries to study abroad in 2026? Here's the part nobody tells you. Jobs in Italy don't pay you anywhere close to what they would in other European countries. Per capita GDP, which is strongly correlated to salaries, is way lower in Italy than what it is in Germany, the Netherlands, or even the UK. One big reason for that is that Italy doesn't have a government mandated minimum wage. Right now, 23% of the country's population is at the risk of falling below the poverty line. Yes, cities like Milan and Rome pay you well, but the cost of living is higher too. So in the long run, you simply save less in Italy than what you would in Germany, France, or even the UK. And there's the language problem on top of that. Less than 15% of Italy's population speak English. To survive in the day-to-day life, you need to learn Italian at the C1 level. Forget finding a job without speaking Italian fluently. Compare that to Germany and France, where over 50% of the population speak English, and even there, people struggle to land jobs without the local language. Even if you get recruited by a multinational company in Italy, your manager, your team, and your daily work culture, all of it would be Italian. Work in Italy or any part of the world isn't just about getting tasks done. It's about building relationships, talking, and even arguing your point in a meeting. If you don't speak Italian, you don't just struggle at work, you struggle to have a life outside of it. In the whole of Italy, there are 21,000 English-speaking jobs. Sounds like a lot until you realize that it's 0.01% of the country's 23.5 million total jobs. Even if you clear the language barrier completely, the Italian economy in itself isn't in a great shape. GDP growth has stayed below 1% for the last 10 years straight, and youth unemployment rate is at 20% right now, which means 1 in 5 Italians can't find a job themselves. And these are locals, people who grew up in the system and speak the local language fluently. So if you do end up studying in Italy, be prepared to relocate to another country for better prospects. Let's say that you have decided to ignore everything that we've said so far about studying in Italy and fly to Italy anyways. Let me run you through the numbers on just surviving as an Indian student in Italy. You're legally allowed to work 20 hours a week. Part-time jobs at restaurants, supermarkets, warehouses, or delivery pay an average of 7 euros per hour, which is about 3 euros lesser than the average hourly pay across Europe. 20 hours a week gets you roughly 560 euros a month. Remember the living cost we mentioned earlier? 600 euros to 800 euros a month. If you're frugal, you're just about breaking even. And that's before you start thinking about a long-term career or savings. The affordable education pitch only holds up if you decide to ignore everything that happens after you land in Italy. Now, after everything that we have said so far, if you're still set on Italy, there are exceptions where it can genuinely work. First, get into a top-ranked university, Politecnico di Milano, Sapienza, University of Padua, Bocconi, and a few others like them. If you get into one of these universities, it will significantly improve your chances of making it big in Italy. Second, study in a field where Italy has an actual skill shortage: healthcare, tech, engineering, manufacturing, construction, and logistics. Even if you don't get into a top-ranked public university, these jobs will keep your job prospects alive in Italy. Third, learn Italian Italian before you land. From day one itself, not in your final semester. And you need to learn Italian till the B1 level minimum. Fourth, start your internship hunt early because they are your only foothold into the real job market. And lastly, book your accommodation early. Italy is one of Europe's biggest tourist destinations, and in a lot of cities, landlords actually prefer short-term Airbnb guests over long-term student tenants. And because of that, finding accommodation in cities like Milan, Rome, and Bologna can get surprisingly difficult and expensive if you leave it till the last minute. So once you have finalized your university, start looking for housing right away. Don't wait till the final few weeks before you fly out. So if you can't commit to these 5 things, especially the language and the field part, then Italy is going to be a much harder route for you. Italy can be one of the smartest study abroad decisions that you will ever make, or it could be one of the biggest mistakes that you could ever make. And the difference usually comes down to whether you understand the ground reality of Italy before you land. If you want us to look at your profile and tell you whether Italy or any other country makes sense for you, drop a comment or reach out to us directly. I'll see you in the next one.